Welcome inside the late night vault for a post-game live stream. It is currently 11:57 Eastern here on Saturday, January 11th. And partner, the team that we cover on an annual basis, or really 365 days a year. I was going to say annual, daily basis. That's when you know it's close to midnight. We're about to get going for the next hour or so. Is moving on. It's survive in advance. It was do or die. And the Ravens did. They did exactly that. And they did everything asked of them in smash mouth form, taking care of the Pittsburgh Steelers, sending them home. 28-14 was the final. This was a first half that was utterly dominated by the Ravens. Pittsburgh hung around and at least kept it interesting at times in the second half. But as I think you and many others tweeted out, this game was really never in doubt. And nights like tonight were the reason why the Ravens, on day 2 of free agency back in March, decided to invest in a 30-year-old running back who just turned 31 last weekend and put forth one heck of a postseason debut for the Baltimore Ravens tonight, and that is King Henry. It's great to see you, partner. Let's get this post-game live going.
Oh, let's get this post-game live going, Bobby. That was just a good old-fashioned butt whooping. A good old-fashioned, we are men and you are high schoolers. Minka Fitzpatrick, Patrick Queen, TJ Watt, Bobby, these guys have families. And Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson just took them out back and gave them what my son likes to BTA, belt to arse. They didn't care that they have families. They were rude hosts. Rude hosts. Ravens have the home game. They were great to their fans. The purple M&T Bank Stadium was glowing. The light show, the lasers, Ray Lewis, MV3 chants, all of it. But Baltimore was the rudest host to all these guys coming in. Just BTA domination and bullied a team that likes to be known for bullies. Just know from start to finish, Bobby, 300 total yards of offense in the first half. And this rarely happens when you make a signing. You envision of what a signing could become and like the most ideal situation of what it could be. That was just realized tonight with this duo of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. They were unstoppable. And all I kept thinking, Bobby, because Lamar was running so much and he was doing so much. And then I'd say to myself, you know what? Just give the ball to Derrick. Give him a little break. When Lamar would take a break in the playoffs against a bitter rival in the past, nothing would get done. Yeah. But this duo playing off of each other was the perfect signing. And I'm so glad that neither one of these guys had to do it alone. And now they have each other.
Well said. And before we get into the weeds of what they did in the first half, because again, they just set the tone. They never really looked back. I should have mentioned at the top, we have a giveaway going tonight, and you guys might be fired up about this, especially those of you who have Maryland roots, courtesy of our friend Dave Taylor, friend of the show, subscriber, and all that good stuff. Just like this Maryland flag that I have in my backdrop, we are giving away an 18 by 12 3D Maryland wooden flag. All you have to do, subscribe to the Vault, like this video, leave a super chat with the hashtag Vault, and go check out the link that we have included as a pinned comment in the live chat. Well, as always, at the end of the stream, we'll get to as many super chats as we can throughout the stream, but at the end of the stream, we will randomly pick a winner. That's what's coming up later tonight. But partner, the first half, look at what this duo did. 24 carries. This is combined numbers here between Lamar and Derrick in the first half. 24 carries, 164 rushing yards. That's good for 6.8 yards per carry and a touchdown. At one point, Lamar ran it like 5 times in a row in the first quarter. And you're thinking to yourself, like, what's going on here? And what kind of smash mouth night are we in for? Well, we figured that out early, and we figured it out often. And as you tweeted out here, and as LeBron James decided to in-game tweet out, there goes the king, leaving Patrick Queen and a number of other Steelers in the dust. Look at that. I mean, that was one of his many breakaway kinds of plays, and the numbers it's hard to do it justice. Next Gen Stats had it. 12 missed tackles forced, and maybe even more so impressive, 157 yards after contact. Sarah, there were so many business decisions taken tonight and made tonight by Pittsburgh. I would imagine that film is going to be a tough one to watch coming up tomorrow. Patrick Queen, of course, was in the middle of that at one point, and he was singled out. But the King just got vertical the first time around. What did Pittsburgh do really well the first time around at their place? It was, hey, we're going to make Lamar and Derek beat us laterally. And that's the formula for success against those two guys. There was no lateral tonight. It was downhill at your face. What are you going to do about it? And they didn't have many answers for it.
What are you going to do about it? That's what a bully says on the schoolyard. That's what a bully says. What are you going to do? And Todd Monken told the crew last week before the Browns game, Dan Orlovsky and the crew there at ESPN, he said, you know what? Sometimes I'm like, well, I'm going to go send out Patrick Ricard, and I'm going to have 2 tight ends out there, and I have Derrick Henry, and I know that you know what I'm going to do, but oh well, what are you going to do about it? And that's what it was. These two were absolutely unstoppable, and it was like that second half felt like an eternity, Bobby, just because we all knew the game was over at halftime. When you're up 21-0 and the Steelers offense had two first downs, that's it. That's bananas. And I just want to back up here just a second to LeBron James giving a shout out to Derrick Henry, because when you have superstars from other sports shouting you out, LeBron James has done that before with Lamar Jackson. Nobody else is qualified to hit LeBron James tweet level, right? And this goes back to what I was saying about this is exactly what you dreamed of when you signed these two, so that they can play off of each other. It's insane what this man does. And we just have to enjoy every morsel of what he did to them. Because this wasn't a, he broke through because the offensive line opened things up, and they did open things up, by the way. Like the offensive
we'll get to
line.
them.
We'll
get to the rookie too, won't we?
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. But when he made it to the second level, Bobby, how good does it feel? 2019 Ravens divisional round against the Titans.
Yep.
And you have Derek running, and you're just like sitting there watching it, and you feel helpless.
Yep.
Absolutely, utterly helpless of stopping the King.
Mm-hmm.
And Minkah Fitzpatrick, it's so funny because Prime Broadcast asked Derrick Henry after the game, what it felt like to do this to this man. And he's like, Minkah, we're cool. He's like, we're good friends. It's all fun. But on the field, it's just business. Like, no hard feelings. Like he flips the switch like this. And like, I can remember him doing that to Earl Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like, I hate this. So to have it on the Ravens side this time is insane. So he embarrasses Minkah Fitzpatrick. Isaiah Likely crowns him.
He's crowning him multiple times.
Was it multiple times? For he is the king. And the queen knows it. Because Derrick Henry left him in the dust. Now, this play right here, where this is his, I can't remember how many yards it is, almost 50-yard touchdown, okay? Just to be clear.
I think 44.
44. Just to be clear, Lamar Jackson took not 1, not 2, but 3 defenders with him for a split second going out to the left end, which is a split second is all you need to give the King. And look at in the first screen grab to the left, he and Patrick Queen are side by side. Now, listen, if we're being fair, Patrick Queen is just coming off a block from Tyler Linderbaum, and Derrick Henry was also already full steam ahead. But for purposes of today, we don't need that context because they are side by side. Then Derrick Henry starts to break free, and Patrick Queen is deflated and gives up.
Yeah.
He makes a business decision, and the King leaves the Queen in the dust. And while Patrick Queen got the first laugh in this series of 3 this season, he certainly didn't get the second laugh, and he didn't get the last, because all hail the king. This is what he does to everybody, including the queen.
If I'm Pittsburgh, if I'm a fan, and obviously you're kind of searching for answers after this one and trying to hang your hat on something, and who knows, there could be major change that is incoming for the Steelers. I guess we'll figure that out and watch and monitor that over the course of the coming weeks. But the only thing I think I can hang my hat on tonight, if I'm a Steelers fan, is that they did not totally fold in the second half, because that was an embarrassing performance. Matter of fact, Kirk Herbstreit called it an abysmal performance in that first half. Not only were there business decisions being made, Sarah, but it was almost like effort, a lack of effort. That 44-yard run that we're showing right here, screenshots wise, what's going on?
I mean, that happened many times. I can't remember, there was a first down marker where Lamar threw it to somebody, and like the safety back there was just like, please let my teammates do this. Please let my teammates do this. And then he ended up getting the first down.
I think it was Dante Jackson, and Kirk like called him out on it. Like,
yeah,
where are you? Why aren't you entering yourself into the play? So that to me was actually jarring. And you wonder, I did see Booger McFarland tweet in game something along the lines of, sometimes the OG, or I can't remember how he referred to it as, the old head, maybe referring to respect. It wasn't like a disrespectful tweet, but it was referring to Mike Tomlin. The message gets stale. That's what his in-game tweet was. And it makes you wonder if change is potentially on the horizon. This is a team that was reeling going into the postseason, as we covered, losing out the last 4 and limping into the postseason. And now they limp into the offseason. Here's Mike Tomlin limping into his press conference open this way.
Congratulations to the Ravens, man. They were the better group today. That was obvious. And really, the X factor was Lamar's unique talents. It seems like every time we got him behind the sticks, he made up for it, or we got him in a possession down circumstance. He extended and won those circumstances, and we never really found a fluid answer all day. Obviously, that was highlighted by our inability to convert third downs in the first half, and they wore us down a little bit. The fatigue component of it became a factor. And so, you can sum it all up to say that they were certainly the better group today.
What sticks out the most there? The fatigue component became a factor, which is kind of what we were just observing. Deshaun Elliott, as tweeted by our friend Brooke Pryor, who came on the show yesterday to help us preview this matchup, was quoted for saying the following. Deshaun Elliott, former Raven and current safety for Pittsburgh. Quote, having 300 yards rushing on you is worse than having 300 yards passing. They definitely put belt to butt today.
He said that.
Okay. Oh, boy.
Okay, so I'm not saying anything disrespectful here, because Deshaun Elliott himself is saying it, right?
It was as if he knew that we were going to be covering it on the show, too. Thank you, Deshaun, for using the proper jargon.
It's just BTA energy all the way through the vault is what we got going on. And it's interesting because we talked about this going into the game with the pressure. Why does every talk show talk about who has more pressure? It's so funny to me. You said something, but you kind of lagged there for a minute. Do we got you?
What I meant, but that topic of pressure.
Yeah.
They squeezed that sponge this week on the national level. Oh, man.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And what's funny, though, is they were trying to say all the pressure is on Lamar, but, other guys are playing for their contracts. Mike Tomlin, who I don't think is going to get fired, but this is yet again another time where he doesn't have a playoff win. I think he hasn't had a playoff win since 2016.
That's correct.
And so when you talk about pressure, he's got to go back, and good for him. He was all professionalism right there. He congratulates the Ravens, all that kind of stuff. But now he's got to go back and face a city that was already calling for his seat, his coaching seat. It's warm. It's very, very warm. Some might say hot. So, but what's interesting is, yes, obviously Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson play off of each other. And Derrick had a night. But what I found interesting, and I think about this because of, what people were arguing with MV3, right? Well, Lamar has Derek, and none of us ever once try to downplay Derek just to make Lamar look better, right? Never once. That being said, every single time Mike Tomlin was asked about the rushing attack, we just heard it there. And at halftime, he was asked, how can you slow down this rushing attack?
Yeah.
And he named Lamar every single time in both the halftime and in the post game, because it's one thing to try to stop Derrick Henry all by himself, but it's another thing to try to stop this duo. And as we pointed out on that run where he leaves Queen in the dust, Lamar took 3 defenders with him.
Yeah.
And so Mike Tomlin is saying, man, Lamar's just making plays. They're asking about the rushing attack. He's saying Lamar, even though Derek has more yards. And so what was interesting, Bobby, is after that week 16 win, when the cries were maybe the loudest in trying to take away MV3 by punishing Lamar by having Derek, is I put out that a film study showing time and time and time again, defensive ends and outside linebackers were first crashing Lamar. And then Derek would have these free open lanes. Yeah. So the Steelers adjusted. And the way Lamar explained it after the game is he said that he wasn't left alone, but this time he said clearly the outside linebackers and defensive ends were crashing Derek first, rather than the reverse, which is what we saw in week 16. But he said I wasn't left alone. He said they had a wraparound guy.
Yep.
But we saw what he did to the wraparound guys. Poor Minka Fitzpatrick. Here we go again. Early on, he was the wraparound guy, and Lamar juked him. He had nothing, left him dead in his tracks. He was coming full speed. Lamar fakes left, goes right, gets the first down. And time and time and time again, Lamar was like, I got your wraparound guy. And so it was like, at some point, the Steelers have to be looking at themselves and say, what do we do? Which is why you started to see those business decisions, because it's like, well, last time we did this and we focused first on Lamar and Derek went off. This time we focused with our outside linebackers first on Derek. Lamar goes off, which in the long run just set up Derek for even more. And this is exactly what, when somebody says pick your poison, that phrase is often used, too often. Like, this is literally that, like poison that will kill you, that will take you out. That this is literally Lamar poison A and Derek poison B. Pick your poison, because either way you weren't stopping them.
In other words, it sounds to me like Mike Tomlin has given a ringing endorsement for MV3 without actually saying it, right? Like, which is what we've been discussing for weeks. And how about the freaking way Lamar was pulling today? He pulled that football out at the last second a couple times, or gave it to Derek at the last second, as if these guys were fighting for the football. And it was as if average Joe, I say this respectfully because I know TJ Watt is a perennial defensive player of the year candidate. Tonight, he looked like average Joe. And to your point there, a couple times, he's straight up tackling the non-ball carrier because he's fooled. So it was just a tremendous effort, a tremendous play calling evening by Todd Monken. And what a tremendous run it's been for Lamar to close out the season and pick up right where he left off tonight. An adjusted completion rate of 75% flat since week 14. This is the week 14 bye, of course, where they've now gone 5-0. He's had over 1,000 passing yards, over 300 rushing yards, 15 total touchdowns, and just one interception that, again, was not his fault. So it's been a heck of a run for Lamar. It's a heck of a run right now as we are live after midnight with over 4,700 concurrents joining us. We're doing a giveaway tonight. The flag right behind me, an 18x12 version, courtesy of our friend Dave Taylor. All you have to do to enter in, and please don't forget the hashtag, because you can't be entered in through our randomly designed software without the hashtag vault. But all you have to do is subscribe, like the video, and leave a super chat in the live chat. Shall we get to some of these and quickly?
Yeah, should we read 10 and up? Because there's a lot already. There's 57.
So tonight you want to do 10 and up?
10 and up. Sorry, everybody.
All right, 10
There's a
and up.
lot of content to get to.
It's all because of exactly. It's
You guys are phenomenal.
all because of, and that's just an exception tonight because we want to keep our content on it.
Yeah.
CA, I'm not sure what this is. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. Kwame says, let's go Ravens. Sarah and Bobby, please give a shout out to my two sons, Julius and Terrence. Shout out Julius and Terrence. What's up, boys? We're watching from Montreal, Canada. We always watch the vault. Sarah, how about those stiff arms by King Henry? And the next one's a 50 spot from Tongsley for you.
Ooh, Tongsley, thank you. Happy for the win. Defense makes me nervous. We will get to the defense. Just the third quarter. Third quarter was rough.
The non-$10 so far. Chef Trez, appreciate you. Ramrod 13, Jermaine Sawyer, Luke, Diesel Doctor, Dustin. We see you guys. We appreciate you guys. Edwin, thanks for being here tonight. Eric Murphy says, what's a Josh Allen? Dreams, appreciate you, Dreams. Oceans, Tongsley again. And Sarah, you're going to like this color. Brian Walters throwing in 100.
Oh, Brian Walters. My goodness. He says, I'll be doubling this for every win the Ravens get in the offseason. Let's freaking go, he says. Wait, so just to get this straight, Brian, you usually send us a 50. Are you saying every win you keep sending us 100, or every win you double the 100 to 200, 200, 400? I just need to make sure we're understanding this. Either way, thank you for your support. Let's go.
The good news is Brian also put in another one later on to make sure that he's eligible for tonight's giveaway with that 100 spot because he forgot his fault. That's right. Thor, what's up, Thor? Eric Murphy, Diesel Doctor. And that brings us to Winstones Chronicles. I couldn't ask for a better birthday gift. 51 on the 14th. Hashtag Vault. Happy early birthday to Winstones. Quincy Foreman, Joey H., Stephen Dents, Stephen Roberts, King Lee, Joey H., Kelly Falls Down Hills. I don't know what that one's after, Kelly. Hopefully you're doing all right. We appreciate you guys for being here. And Abraham Walker for you.
It doesn't matter who we play next. Run it up. Then those devil purple emojis, hashtag Vault.
Just to reiterate, tonight we're doing only reading $10 super chats solely based on time. We're trying to make sure our quality is up to date, and we want to be respectful of your time as our consumers. We have a giveaway tonight, and it's the Maryland flag behind me, not this one, an 18x12 version, courtesy of our friend Dave Taylor. Kelly Falls Down Hills threw another one in there, as did Eileen Nolan. Jemmy 93. We appreciate you guys for being here tonight. Sherry Ramirez says, now we get to sit back and watch the pundits walk back the stupid things they've all been saying. You know, it's going to be a busy week, Sherry. And the Diesel Doctor throwing in a 50.
All joking aside, I'm stoked. I'm a little worried about how sore Lamar's back will be tomorrow when he wakes up. We can't lose him. Being super sore can hinder a week of important practice. Prayers up, my friend. Hashtag Vault. We will get to Lamar here in a minute.
RLS and J Ray and 1BFA Assassin and Jason Zarotniak and Brian Walters again. Thank you guys. Thank you for being with us in post-game form. Randy Hendrickson from there's no D in there. Randy Henriksen from Iowa says, love the Sarah Belt Arse or BT Arse. What a fantastic first half. Bobby's pregame rocked today as well. Stick with the run all day. Love you both all day for what you do. Feelings mutual, Randy. 1BF Assassin showing us some love. Joel Brantley showing us some love. Sean Young, JL Green, Laura Dillander. Don't forget the hashtag Vault, guys. We want you to be able to be entered into tonight's giveaway, which is a Maryland flag, a friggin' awesome 3D wooden art flag. Like, I'm pumped for whoever wins this, especially if you have Maryland roots. RVA Raven fan for you.
This is our time. This is for us. Henry is the king. Lamar is the emperor. We left the Steelers in the ruin of their fading dynasty and hopefully march into the Ravens' galactic empire.
Clever. Brian Walters, Eileen Nolan, thank you both. Ramesh Collective says, can someone please tell what Stevens has on Zach Orr? Why do we keep letting him on the field? Been a quiet subscriber for over a year, but rarely miss a live. Sarah, you're my MVP. Ramesh, we will definitely get to the Brandon Stevens side of things because he had a tough night and a tough assignment with George Pickens. Kara, Patrick Szymanski, Jason Zaratniak, Adam Legend, Q-Dog. Thank you, boys. Thank you guys for being here. Tongsley throws in another one. He's been inactive tonight.
That knee in Lamar's back was intentional. Dirty squealers. Nitro called it on his show.
Zach Burrows, appreciate you, brother. Ghosty says, where are all the Tomlin owns Harbaugh folks now? Hashtag Vault. So now, let's see. It was 8 of 9 going into, right? They had won 8 of 9 going into this past one.
Going into week 16. So then it was 8 of 10, and now it's 8 of 11.
Yep, gotcha.
So Ravens got a little streak going on. And by the way, a lot of those didn't have Lamar.
That's right.
Yep.
Joe Jenkins talking about smelling salts with me during the pregame show. We can address that at the end. Coach Kai, Jermaine Sawyer, Sherry Ramirez, Juicebox J84, Oddish. Thank you guys for being here. Brian Walters says postseason. I meant postseason, clarifying what you had asked earlier on about his donation promise. And JL Flock Gang for you.
B. Steve, can't let this happen all postseason. Lamar needs to get injured, interested to see. Oh, Lamar needs to not get injured, interested to see if it's a problem during the week. On to next one. Bring on Josh Allen so we can beat him again. Hashtag Vault, hashtag MV3.
Jang says, great win tonight. I normally don't condone bullying, but Ravens versus Steelers, I shall allow it. Keep up the good work, and thank you both for all you do, Bobby and Sarah. Thank you, Jang. Jemmy93, we appreciate you for being here. Ryan Uttendorfer throws us a $20 spot. Appreciate you. And Sean Young for you.
The first half was a model for offensive greatness. Let's keep it going. He put Vault, but not hashtag.
Oh, man.
Just
Sean.
do it in the normal chat, Sean.
Yeah. Get in there, Sean. RVA Raven fan says, forgot the hashtag. Hashtag Vault. You're all the best. Obviously, a reminder that if you don't have that hashtag, we can't. You won't show up in our search optimization in the aftermath of this show. Joshua Cravo. Oh, I just totally botched Romage. Okay. Romage Collective. Sorry for botching that. Teddy Pope, Randy Hendrickson showing us some more love. Sean Young, that is, excuse me. Do we have a name for all us yet? Hashtag Vault. We have a list, and we're going to dwindle down the list coming up probably at this point, probably next week. Okay. We finally got down to the bottom of this, Sarah, that we were wondering if this was the Mark Clayton, and as Mark Clayton confirms, it's not the Mark Clayton. But you know what, Mark? You can be our Mark Clayton. That's exactly who you are tonight. Appreciate the super chat. Winstone's Chronicles for you.
Sarah's feeling good, and so am I. Hashtag Vault.
Zachariah says, just love from Hawaii. You guys are the best. Can't wait to see who we play next week. MV3 and Super Bowl MVP, LFG. And obviously all eyes now turn to tomorrow's wild card round between Denver and Buffalo. Edward Whittle says, pretty sure Lamar has a bone bruise, sad face, hashtag Vault. We'll learn more about that. And Denise Simard for you.
Jeez. These 50 spot, man. Look at that. It's close to a purple. Love you, Bobby and Sarah. But Denise, we love you.
Thank you guys so much. 78 entries thus far for tonight's giveaway. It's a first of its kind. This style Maryland flag. It's 18 by 12. Can be hung up in a man or woman cave, in the garage, wherever you want it. Courtesy of our guy, Dave Taylor. All the instructions, a pinned comment in the live chat. Where to, partner?
So let's get to Lamar Jackson. Bobby, a massive storyline heading into this game was obviously Lamar saying at podium that in the past, during playoff games, he maybe got too antsy, too excited. A lot of national sites took that and made it much more dramatic than it was, saying that he said that he's seeing ghosts and things that aren't out there and that he's nervous. And I don't know why are they putting words in his mouth. But Lamar Jackson did admit in the past to being antsy. Bobby, he did not look antsy tonight. He looked dominant tonight. He looked like a bully tonight. He looked like he was in control. He was completely in control at the line of scrimmage. He was reading the outside linebackers, the defensive line, the all of them. He was reading everything and read it to near perfection. So how did he get to this space today? Obviously, he's had some experience, and so he knows he needs to stay a little bit more poised. This was his day, which was absolutely hilarious. He said, I was just chill. Not going to lie, I was eager throughout the week, but when the day came, I was just cool throughout the day. I didn't get on the phone. I didn't want to talk. My mom called me and I said, I don't want to talk. No disrespect. Never disrespect. You better say that to your mom. No disrespect. Like, Mom, I don't want to talk to you right now, but that's not this. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to lock. Please understand. He says to his mom, I don't want to talk. No disrespect. Never disrespect. But I don't want to talk. I'm just ready for the game. Let me get to the game. He said, I didn't want to play around or smile. That's what it's going to be each and every time. And that's why I told you, Bobby, when they cut to him on the bench, it's not joking around. It's not smiling. It's those Joe Flacco years when it looked like he was falling asleep and then would come out, in the bitter cold, and he'd come out and just dice up defenses. I don't know how he did that. We called him January Joe for a reason. Yep. I feel like Lamar's channeling that to the point that he's like, Mama, I can't talk right now. I love you, but there's no talking right now.
Sarah, there was such a comfort level that he was even comfortable saying things like this in his post-game speech, or his post-game interview, or he was comfortable saying, hey, I kind of like to sit back and watch the show that is Derrick Henry. Like, spreading the burden is a true reality for Lamar right now. And this was the first time in 7 playoff games where he was able to do so. You don't have to don the Superman cape. We talked about it for months, and it came to fruition tonight. Tonight was why you brought in the king. And so not only was he comfortable, not only was he willing to put his body on the line, particularly in that first half, but he was slicing and dicing. How about the throw? How about the degree of difficulty as he thread the needle on that Rashad Bateman touchdown pass? We always talk about Lamar's arm angles. We always talk about his escapability. How about the Justice Hill escapability? Or I should say, what ended up becoming the Justice Hill touchdown. That starts because of Lamar's ridiculous escapability. And as you tweeted, what an impressive opening drive. To me, if there's one thing that sticks out the most when it comes to Todd Monken, it is how thoughtful and dominant he is in scripted form on opening drives. It is utterly dominant. They set the tone. By the way, also for the first time in 7 playoff games, Lamar had a halftime lead. The previous 6, that was not the case. And that is such an important thing for the psyche, for settling into a game that Lamar has not been able to do through his first 6 tries. Again, tonight marked the first time in his postseason career that he went into the half with a lead. And right from the jump, you had it here. 13 plays, 95 yards, 15-yard touchdown, thread the needle right away. You get Bateman involved, you get the King involved, Pittsburgh's on its heels, and they were in for a long night after this opening drive.
And look how hype Bateman is.
Oh, he was hype, all right.
Oh, he knows that with Zay out, he was the number 1 wide receiver. And to get the opening touchdown on the opening offensive drive, like, he was so hype. And if you could rewatch the video, I know you pointed this out on Twitter, Lamar thread the needle in the back of the end zone. And by the way, he could partially do that because he had so much time. He had so much time thanks to the offensive line. What is this?
Well, sorry for the language that's in this IG story that Kevin Durant put up, but Rashad Bateman was scoring, or I should say wearing custom Nike Kevin Durant cleats. And look, you got a shout out from KD. Good S7 at Rashad Bateman. So just a nice little NBA, NFL crossover there. It wasn't just LeBron that was giving King Henry and the Ravens some love tonight. KD endorsing Rashad Bateman's performance. But Sarah, no Zay Flowers, no problem, at least for now.
Oh, man.
And wow, you talk about this by committee approach that we were kind of like trying to foresee or project in terms of how they would replace the eye candy stuff that Zay does. Did you think that Steven Sims was going to be an option for that? Because I didn't have that on my bingo card.
I didn't see that on my bingo card. How about Anthony Miller?
Hey, he had a
Tylan
couple
Wallace.
nice catches, Miller, man.
Yeah.
He's a tough cookie. That's a veteran right there.
Absolutely. And like he's got some wheels, and so does Sims. Sims we'll talk about in the special teams department. He was making me a little too nervous out there with the way he was fielding those punts. But so you had a little bit of all of them between Sims and Anthony Miller and Tylan Wallace. But the big thing, Bobby, was just that they just didn't even care to pass a lot of the time. And I think that's kind of like where we were. We just saw this big personnel. There was that one point where the Ravens ran. They had a 13-play drive.
Yeah.
With all 13 plays being runs. What? Like, are we back in like the 1990s? Are we back in like early NFL days? Like, this is a passing league. And so Monken was just like, oh, forget it. We can't completely replace what Zay does. So we're just going to lean into our physicality. And by the way, we'll get explosive games through our rushing. But this is what they did with Zay out, is they mostly just said, okay, forget it. We're just going to bully you all. Just 13 play. Like, I just can't even a 13-play drive, and all 13 plays were runs, and they knew it was coming and they couldn't stop it. And then how about this? How about this from Lamar? Yeah. This was like the only non-majority rushing drive. And it was when the Ravens get the ball back with less than 2 minutes left before the half. And you're thinking, holy crap, if the Ravens go up 21-0 and then they get the ball coming out, like, it's over. It's over. And they had been running so much that you're kind of like, I wonder what Lamar's accuracy is going to be, because we've looked at games in the past, like the Kansas City game, where like his accuracy was pinpoint accurate in the first quarter, but he was running so much in that game that like it just seemed like his mechanics kind of wore down. And so it's like, all right, well, he has just run a ton. Can he be just as accurate? Then he went out on that he just put on a clinic for a 2-minute drive against the team that knows him best and historically has contained him the most. So they knew that he was going to be passing. They knew it because it's 2 minutes. You can't run in those moments. So he comes out, Lamar to Bateman, 9 yards. There was actually 2 rushes beforehand, but after that, Bateman for 9, Aguilar 25, Andrews for 20, Likely for 19, and then I just got so excited I tweaked my throat there. And then
you did coach 3 basketball games today.
And all of them were close, by the way.
And you went above 500. You finished the day above 500, especially with your Ravens winning as well.
That's right. That's right. We only lost that last game because we lost our top player, but we lost her at the beginning of the second half. We only lost by 3. In our last game, by the way, with my sons, we won with 2 seconds left. So I am definitely have been yelling all day, and now I'm just continuing. So
we should also note,
as
I keep interrupting you, that you were in charge of a 12-girls sleepover last night.
Yeah. So I was up till 2, and then I got up to get the snow out of here at 7. So it's been a fun, full life. Okay. But, and this is just capping it off.
This is why we love you, though. This is why I love you. Seriously. And now I'll stop interrupting.
I love you. And I love the Ravens, and I love the Vault. But he capped off this 2-minute drive with one of those quintessential Lamar Jackson extending plays where he has to run back. Oh, there's somebody here. Let me run forward. Let me run. And then he just keeps buying time, and just toying with the defensive line, and then finds Justice Hill. And that's the way they score with about 2 seconds left in the second half. So it was like running nonstop, including a drive with 13 plays, all 13 rushing. It's like we only have 1:51. So Lamar, can you just like go from being this phenomenal rusher that's also opening things up for Derek to being pinpoint accurate with pass, and they're expecting it? He's like, sure, no problem. I got you. Watch this.
Talk about a demoralizing blow for Pittsburgh. And how about the number going into half? that the Ravens hit. This is ridiculous. They had 164 rushing yards in the first half. That's the most they've ever had in a half in a playoff game in franchise history. So, to your point earlier on, it was clear what the mission was tonight. It was good enough to get past Pittsburgh with ease, and now they obviously await who they will face in the divisional round. I thought another guy that not only tried to emulate, replicate, and maybe even surpass what Derrick Henry did to Minkah Fitzpatrick with that vicious stiff arm that deserves some love is Isaiah Likely. Number 80 had a modest night when you look at the numbers, 3 for 53 on 4 targets, but one of those was 25. And look at what he did to Cameron Sutton here. Oh my Lord. This was just as vicious, if not more vicious, than what Derrick did to Minkah Fitzpatrick. And in terms of usage, as our friend Dev Panchwa pointed out on Twitter, with Zay out, Todd was like, hey, we're gonna use Likely the best of our ability tonight. And Dev's like, hey, he's been a hybrid chess piece. He lined up out wide a number of times, inverted looks with Bateman inside, and went on to write, the Steelers just have not had any answers. And one of those hookups, I believe that was the one for 25, Sarah, like the outstretched arms of Isaiah when he just transforms, poof, on the drop of a hat, right at the snap of a finger, into a wide receiver in a tight end's body. It's so fulfilling to watch him morph and open up lanes for Derrick when he's blocking. That's a part of his game that he's taken so much pride in, I feel like, this year. I think he just sat down with the lounge and talked about that exactly, almost word for word, just this past week. So, again, it's a modest box score sheet for number 80, but a big impact that some of which was immeasurable tonight.
Somebody in the chat said he's dribbling him like a basketball. It's kind of true. Look at him.
Oh, man.
And are you proud of me? I didn't interrupt you when I saw it, and I didn't even laugh out loud. I really wanted to, though. But I was like, I gotta let Bobby cook here for a second. I can't interrupt. So
I've already gotten you a couple times. Matter of fact, you probably you got a few in the dock right now if you want to use them.
No, it's good. How about the other play though? There was another play. I feel like it was in either the first or second quarter, definitely the first half, where Lamar threw one out to him. And it like if it wasn't Likely, it may have been a little long.
Yeah.
But Likely has like he pulled out his go-go gadget arms and he snatched it and he kept it in one hand and kind of like, what was he doing? Like, I don't know. He was just like like he just felt like he was toying with the ball. Like it didn't even matter. And I was like, what a catch.
Oh yeah.
By Isaiah Likely. And how about I had to put this photo in. Because look at the Steelers' foot up in the air.
That's Sutton's foot and Isaiah's aftermath.
All you see is dribbling him like a basketball.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. What a great game from Isaiah Likely. And then, by the way, I mean, Mark Andrews had a couple of – what did Mark Andrews finish with here?
2 for 27.
Okay, 2 for 27. But how hilarious is it, Bobby? I think within this last week – I was like, I don't like this tight end tush push thing. Like, I was like, it just doesn't seem to work very often. Or like it's too close. Well, they figured something out today because that tush push was unstoppable tonight. Like it was just, they channeled Jalen Hurts and the Eagles perfectly. Because every time it was like 4th and 1. I can't remember if there was a 3rd and 1 in there. No, it's 3 4th downs. They did the tush push, and Mark Andrews having Derrick Henry and Patrick Ricard pushing him from behind. They would throw me into the end zone. That's what would happen if I were in there. They're just like pushing him across, and it was just as automatic as the Eagles, which is a fantastic thing to have in your back pocket when you need a yard.
Is there anything that Todd Monken adores more than utilizing his tight ends, whether it be Kohler and or Andrews? I mean, Mark, obviously it was Mark tonight. I'm sure they don't want to test. Let's not test Charlie's arm just yet. He just got back from breaking his forearm after Derrick Henry's sheer force, over a month ago. So But man, Todd, he loves it and he trusts his guys. And to your point, with that kind of personnel, how could you not? With Ricard and Henry making sure that they pave the way, or at least give the kind of support that Andrews needs from behind to get him to where they need to go. I mean, it was too easy getting those tush pushes tonight. Shall we get back to Super Chats?
Before we do, should we just give an update on the injury of Lamar real quick?
Yep, absolutely.
Just to put the bow on the Lamar section.
Yep.
And then we can do that. But obviously, so here's the screen grab of when he got a knee to the back. I read that super chat that said it was intentional. I don't know. I
didn't see that.
I didn't see it. But anyway, it seemed to me that Lamar, obviously, when he was getting up from that, he definitely was like, putting his arms, back to his back and like definitely felt that knee. Then later on, it seemed to like creep up a little bit again. And so they were using a heating pad, and it's obviously freezing out there. But you get nervous when you do go to sleep because it's like if it's a back, it's like for me, sometimes like I wake up worse than when I went to bed, right? Yeah. So, but according to Lamar, he was asked about the knee to his back and how it affected his game. And he said, quote, "I'm good. It really didn't affect me at all, to be honest with you. It's just a little nag, but I'm good. Nothing to worry about." Now, I'll say this. While he was grimacing or sometimes he'd put his hand back there, when it came to having to throw or run, he's absolutely right. It didn't affect him at all. Like he just was still running around, juking people and, throwing the ball around with accuracy. So he's right, but obviously he'll probably be on the injury report, and we'll see how it responds in the morning.
Yeah, you definitely got the sense that he was gutting it out. And to your point, whether it was just the adrenaline kicking in, there was no clear indication when he was out there playmaking that he was in any kind of pain. So hopefully that carries through for him. Hopefully he has, a treatment kind of day tomorrow, maybe to get out in front of the week while he watches the Buffalo-Denver game. I mean, he repeatedly said he doesn't care who they play. Like, it doesn't matter. He was adamant about that in his post-game press conference. But some of those overhead prime camera looks that we had of the huddle, he looked like he was in some considerable pain. At one point, kind of like putting his hands on his knees and leaning over a little bit. And you're thinking to yourself, "Sheesh, where's this going?" So that'll be something to watch as the week begins. Thank you guys for spending some time with us here late night. We're in post-game live form, 50 minutes in, about to transition over to the defensive side of the ball in just a bit. We better get to some super chats before things get out of hand. Tonight's giveaway is very similar to this backdrop of mine here in my at-home studio. It's an 18 by 12 3D Maryland wooden flag, courtesy of our friend Dave Taylor, who's a huge fan of the show. Tonight, to enter into our giveaway, all you have to do, subscribe to the Vault, like the video, leave a super chat with the hashtag Vault so that we can search you as a random winner later on, and click on that link that you see as a pinned comment in the live chat. We left off with Denise, so let's get to Max Power, who is hanging out in the land down under. Lunchtime kickoff in Australia. Ravens never in doubt. He's a fan of Sarah, hashtag Vault. She is a married woman, just so you know, Max. We appreciate you for being here. Jemmy93 for you.
Like I've said before, run the ball, win it all. Need to lighten up on D. Looking at you, Stevens. Oh, need to tighten up. Sorry. I was like, we're not lightening up on Eric Henry. Like, this is what we brought him here for. Let's not get crazy. Okay, so he's not getting crazy. He said, need to tighten up on D. Looking at you, Stevens. Henry looking. It's the missing piece we needed to get over the hump. Lamar don't need to be the hero. Hashtag Vault. Agreed.
Larry J. Are we witnessing the rebirth of the greatest show on turf? It took 43 seconds for the Ravens to score a touchdown to who? 43. Justice Hill, hashtag Vault. And I believe it was 4 plays, wasn't it? I mean, they just marched down the field. And Larry, throughout this season, really down the second half, you saw a lot of those comparison games, right? To Kurt Warner's greatest show on turf. And the Ravens are literally right in those statistical categories. So perhaps we are. Skylar, thank you for being here. And Mark, for you.
Too many Lamar runs. Hashtag Ramage Collective. Hashtag the Vault.
Denise Simard hits us with a hashtag Vault so she can be entered into tonight's giveaway. And Winstone's Chronicles says, Bobby, Let the hair out, man. Hashtag Vault. I'm going the beanie look. I'm going cozy tonight. Although it was
Beanie
not
Bobby.
it was not as cold as last week, Sarah. It was actually considered, I would say, balmy compared to last week. And weather, it was football weather tonight.
To me, it's
Let's
all about
see.
the wind chill. I can handle it if the wind
Yeah.
wind is not, going crazy.
Yep. JL Flock Gang, we appreciate you for being here. And Brian's mad one for you.
Steelers stink. That's all. Hashtag Vault. Or you can read it if you want what he actually said.
And Dreams, aka Queon, says maybe Lamar's mom needs to cuss out Brandon Stevens next. And on the post-game show, Lamar said he's getting a massage and not worried about the games tomorrow. He's definitely locked in. Hashtag Vault.
Ravens 5-0 since Lamar got cussed out by his mom.
Let's keep that going. George Robinson, Travis Bullock, thank you guys for being here tonight. Just in case you guys are just popping on, and we're coming up on that thick 6,000 concurrent number as we approach 1 a.m. Tonight we are reading every super chat that comes in terms of your name, but the comments start at the $10 threshold solely based on wanting to be respectful of your time since you're coming here for the content and we don't want to water it down whatsoever. Brock Jones for you.
Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have looked at social media. I'm just looking at this tweet from a Steelers fan that says Ravens whooped us so bad it had our own fan base fighting each other, and then there was a big video of a fight. If you want to go
in
look
Baltimore,
I don't know if it's in Baltimore, but they're all in Steelers. Is that in Baltimore? It looks like it's in Baltimore. There's a bunch of buses. Oh man, I can't watch those fights. Okay.
By the way, you just made me think of something with buses. On my way over today, I went over early to the tailgate just to kind of like soak up the atmosphere because it was. I have to tell you, and you had 10 plus years of this. I'm not telling you something you don't already know. What an amazing, infectious energy today in Baltimore! Like, unbelievable game day atmosphere. And I actually got stuck in the police escort for the Steelers on their way from Harbor East, the hotels, to the stadium. And it's just like this sense of urgency. Like the helicopters are going above. You've got the buses with the players and the team personnel. They're being escorted by multiple police officers. There's caravans everywhere, or I should say like Escalades everywhere. It was like a big moment kind of day. And I was listening to my music on the way over, and it was just like, man, I wish that we had 2 more of these in Baltimore. It's like we got spoiled last year with how they had the divisional and the championship game here for sure.
Well, we'll see what happens with Broncos Bills, but maybe there will be another one. We'll see.
You never know.
You never know. But sorry for and I just want to say this since we're talking about this. Obviously, I wasn't in Baltimore to soak up the atmosphere like you were, but I can tell you on TV, I felt like I could feel the energy, like the way the aerial shots of M&T Bank Stadium, glowing purple, and seeing the fireworks, and then some people, put videos up of the music in there, and I was just like, oh, what an environment. And this is why players that come and visit, they even say Baltimore, especially at night, is like the best. It's the best in the NFL. And, I used to work with all the people that put that on. It's absolutely insane. So happy for them. And then the national anthem, Ray Lewis coming out and doing his dance, like the marketing department and the broadcasting department that, both put that on. It was just insane. It was just next level insane. So good. And so not even being there, I got chills seeing and hearing, some of the sights and sounds from there. So,
and if I could just add on real quick.
Yeah, add on, Bobby.
To the national anthem. Samantha Polino deserves a major shout out. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Samantha Polino. I believe she's a Maryland native, huge Ravens fan, super talented. She delivered a heart-stopping national anthem. The noise of that how did she keep her concentration? That belted through I could hear it from Canton.
Yeah.
It was, to me, that was a powerful rendition and something that set the tone for an incredible night in Baltimore. And I just wanted to give her props. I was really moved by her national anthem tonight.
Sometimes when people sing the national anthem, it looks like they're like trying to hear themselves, right? They're trying to like, it just seems like they're pushing themselves to like max effort. Like they're pushing to like they're like the point of their boundary, their voice, right? Of doing that in a stadium. She made it look easy. She made it look easy. Like just, right in. I mean, so good. So good. You could see why she's on Broadway. You could see it.
It almost it was like bringing me to an emotional level. That's how much I was moved
Yeah.
by it.
Yeah.
And I think everybody agrees right now in the live chat. It just she met the moment. And her I was blown away by her national anthem. Like, not to do an entire segment on a national anthem, but there was something special about that. And when you bring in the unique nature of the O, it's just so Baltimore. It is uniquely Baltimore. And what a nice little flavor
Yeah.
that really set the tone for a fantastic evening.
Well, we just hit, in your words, 6,000 concurrents. So that's good news. And I'm going to finally read. Brock Jones has been on the screen for like 10 minutes. I'm going to finally read this. He says, the Ravens flag are running wild in Melbourne, Australia. The King and LG8 could be the best 1-2 in NFL history. #Vaults.
Bob Clemens says the stars are aligned. This team is on fire at the right time. Even if the road to the Super Bowl is through Buffalo and Kansas City, nothing would be sweeter. LFG, #OurTime, #MV3, #All Hail the King, #Ravens, oh yeah, and #Vault. Carolyn Young for you.
Great game. On to the next. #Vault.
Appreciate you, Yo Jitsu. Gerald Jackson. In the post-game prime interview, Lamar said his, quote, young playoff mistakes were thinking big play or splash play, and he said now it's first down to touchdown type of mentality. That's big. And honestly, you saw that tonight with some of his decision-making. Astute observation there from Gerald. Yeah. Kenneth Williams, WW, Donovan, Paul, Michael Smith, Laura Roten. Appreciate you guys for being here tonight. We thank you. We're just keeping time on task here. $10 super chats get read. Anything below that, we just say thank you just solely based on timing. And tonight's giveaway is a Maryland flag like the one behind me. Zachariah, for you.
Gotta love rubbing the W in your best friend's face who's a Steelers fan. #Vault, #Flock, #Creamers. Love you all and God bless.
Captain Hard says
he started saying that he's rubbing it in his friend's face and also God bless.
Oh, man. Captain Hard says likely had a better stiff arm, if we're being fair, than Derrick Henry. So I think he made better impact. Derrick's sheer force, brute force that he put into Minkah.
Minkah was like, whoa.
Was unbelievably, like, it was undeniable. Isaiah made better contact. Derrick made more effort, I think is fair to say.
I mean, one was dribbling a basketball, as the chat said. The other one just embarrassed a man. You know what? We got to have them side by side later. I got to check this out again.
For sure. DJ Burke, I guess I could take this since it's addressed to me. Bobby, good talking to you today. Lamar wasn't afraid to run. That was the key to me. Go Ravens, #Vault. DJ, appreciate you coming on the pregame show, man. It was great to meet you and your wife, Gloria. Michael Smith and AD, thank you guys for being here tonight. And Kenneth M. for you.
Hi from Seattle. Always on, but never chat. #Vault.
12K Tay, what the flock is up, Sarah and Bobby? We just beat the goat dogs, sugar honey iced tea out the Steelers. Let's flock and go. We ain't playing with none of these mother flockers. #Vault. I'm glad I got that one. X2 for you.
That was actually very impressive. Rosa Garden was such a steal. Shout out to EDC and the scouts for that one. Also wanted the shout out.
We got to do more on Roger coming up next week.
Yeah.
This dude, did TJ Watt show up in the stat sheet? Let me check this real quick.
Oh yeah, while you're looking that up, when
Sarah, he's not on here. He didn't make the stat sheet.
Bro, when he was on the sideline, I don't know what was up with his elbow or whatever, but I was like, nope, he's not in this. This isn't it for him. It's just not going to work for him today.
Was working his arse off, and you keep going back to our offseason interview right after the draft with Tyler Columbus, who was on his high school staff, Rogers high school staff. And Tyler played for Denver. He won a Super Bowl. He's a former offensive lineman. He understands the position. What did he tell us? He's a student of the game. He's somebody that's not only going to be your future left tackle, but he will be starting at some point this year. And he didn't right out of the gate, but wow, did he ever come around. Roger and Nate Wiggins, I know Nate had a rookie moment tonight. We'll get to the defense in just a bit. But those two rookies feel like they are going to be mainstay cornerstone pieces for this franchise for years to come. And what an encouraging reality that is for the Ravens.
It is bananas that TJ Watt is not on the stat sheet.
He's not on it. You can reflect it all you want. He ain't on it.
And on that throw, which I highlighted Lamar, obviously, to Justice Hill with the 5-yard throw before the end of the half, Lamar was a magician. But also, Roger was out there taking care of business against TJ for however many seconds that lasted, maybe close to 10. I don't know.
Yep.
But you're not a nobody, Roger, because guess what? Myles Garrett knows your name, and he gave you his jersey, and TJ Watt knows your name. I promise you that. You are not a nobody.
I'll tell you what, you got the humility of a somebody, that's for sure, and it's growing. Julius Hamilton, Zinks 3213. Thank you guys. Zinks is commenting on my pregame smelling salts. And Notano J627, Bourbon Goggles in Louisville. First time, long time. Celebrating in the Ville with a pour of Sagamore tonight. 8 is MV3. Hope we can repeat this 3 more times. Hashtag Go Lamar, hashtag Go Ravens, hashtag Creamers, hashtag Vault. And Darren Alexander, thank you for your super chat. We are fully caught up. We appreciate you guys for being here tonight. Over 6,100 of you concurrently watching. We're about to talk defense in just a moment. A reminder, tonight's giveaway is a Maryland flag, much like the one behind me. It's an 18x12 edition. It's 3D. It's done by Dave Taylor. I love this thing. It's a staple of my studio. Can't wait to randomly give this thing away at some point, probably in the next half an hour or so, depending on how long we go.
So, Bobby, on defense, before we get into what went wrong, because I know it felt uneasy in the third quarter, obviously, but before we get to that, I feel like we would be, if we were told before the game that the defense would only give up 2 first downs in the entire first half, and that in the fourth quarter, they would give up 0 touchdowns. Like, that's a good, solid day for the defense. All-pro Marlowe drew an offensive pass interference. Ardarius Washington.
Sarah.
This dude is inspiring to me, Bobby.
Sarah, he's
Yes.
making, I'm telling you right now, I can speak for this crew. He is making sub-6 foot dudes across the globe mighty proud. And I'm one of them. Cole Jackson's another. Kevin Ostreicher's another.
Wait, they're
We're
all
a trio
short too?
of sub-6 foot dudes. Cole's in Baltimore right now. We went out and fed Hill last night for just a drink. I think he's 3 sheets to the wind right now, but he's happy as heck to be here. Shout out Cole Jackson. We're all sub-6 feet, as is Ardarius Washington. And Sarah, that hit stick that he put on Pat Freiermuth.
Dude, how though? What is Freiermuth's size? Like,
Pat
how
is
does
a tight
somebody...
end. He's probably 6 inches taller than Ardarius. Ardarius oozes of undrafted pride, grit, tenacity, and a resiliency, a relentlessness that makes it impossible not to appreciate him. You think about what he did to Russell Wilson the last time these two teams played. You think about what he did on Christmas night to Joe Mixon, right? In the red zone. You think about tonight, that play that he made on Pat Freiermuth. These are signature plays for a guy who would not be playing if not for the 3rd highest cap hit member being a non-factor, not being his future in Baltimore being not even unknown anymore. He's not. Marcus Williams will no longer be here starting in the fall of 2025 or in a few weeks from now. He would never have gotten this chance if Marcus Williams hadn't fallen off. He has taken this opportunity and run with it, and then some. It's been so fun to watch.
Bro, Ardarius Washington is 5'8", 180.
Yeah.
Pat Freiermuth is 6'5",
Yep.
258. Pat Freiermuth has inches? No.
Yep.
Yeah.
But-
Well, no. 5'8" to 6'5". 12 minus 3 is 9.
Yeah.
9 inches. And 20 plus 58, 78, almost 80 pounds on him.
And yet, Ardarius
yet
makes perfect contact.
But yes, perfect contact. So, like, you can praise, obviously, the technique and all of that. But you have to be a different dude to see a man that is 80 pounds more and 7 inches taller, and you go in there fearless.
Yeah.
Fearless. Like, it's, and then I've seen fearless people before. Sometimes the line between fearless and stupid is very thin, because there are some fearless people that just get themselves hurt, right? It's like, what are you doing, dummy? Right? Like, what are you doing? That is not Ardarius Washington. How in the world he stopped one-on-one to Pat Freiermuth from getting that first down?
Yep.
Where we just juxtapose that, because a minute ago we were talking about the Ravens on offense. I think it was Justice Hill. It was somebody where their safety didn't even want to come up and help their 2 other defensive backs, and the Ravens ended up converting. They could have
had Jackson.
Thank you, on Jackson. Wait, what?
Who you were referring to didn't get into the play?
Yeah. I thought
Dante Jackson in Pittsburgh.
Okay, Dante Jackson. Who was the Raven that converted on that play?
Tylen, I believe.
Oh, it was Tylen. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that was like a 20-yard hookup between him and Lamar, and you're like, oh yeah, Tylen's out there. He started as wide. By the way, Tylen started as wide receiver 2 tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Opening drive,
Yeah. And so whatever, you're all rotating in and whatnot. But it's just like, it's crazy that Tylen Wallace converts on 3 Steelers defenders, 1 really not wanting to engage. And then Ardarius Washington, all on his own, takes on Pat Freiermuth and stops the first down. It's insane. That's all heart. That's all dog. That's all attitude. It's incredible.
And you know what, Sarah? It brings me back to the clips that we shared earlier in the week about what Jimmy Smith had to say evaluating Marcus Williams. And he highlighted and exposed, in a sense, the lack of want to, the lack of willingness to tackle, willingness to put your body on the line. And I think that was felt. That was felt throughout the locker room. I'm sure that was felt on all 3 levels defensively. Ardarius is the exact opposite. He is all gas, no brakes. He has an incredible technique and timing ability. And he's somebody that's literally probably fighting for his livelihood in his mind every single snap that he earns out there, and he has earned it. And the fact that he gets to play with Kyle Hamilton, what an awesome run that Ardarius is on right now. He is on an all-time run right now as an undrafted rookie, and he is cementing himself to be a part of this organization. And if somebody else wants him, then he's going to be a hot commodity when he's up for free agency.
Yeah, he and Kyle Hamilton have just become an insane duo. That's just, I mean, and they complement each other well. Because what's funny is Kyle Hamilton is like big for the position, right? Ardarius Washington is small for the position. And Kyle Hamilton is like the heralded mid first round pick who was expected to be this good. Yeah. And Ardarius is like the undrafted rookie. But both of them just go in and stick their nose wherever they need to, and lay a hit wherever they need to. And Ardarius almost had an interception. It's kind of good. He didn't. It's good that he actually didn't get the interception, because the Ravens would have gotten the ball at the 25, whereas the turnover on downs gave them much better field position. But so he was good. Kyle Hamilton out there was good. Now that does bring us to Brian Stevens.
Yep.
And not to just single him out alone, Tre'Davious White got beat.
He got cooked.
And so did Nate Wiggins.
Yes, he did. Nate had a rookie moment.
Yeah.
George Pickens is a problem. Van Jefferson scored the first touchdown. Steelers' first points, by the way, did not come until around the 8-minute mark in the third quarter since they were shut out in the first half.
Yeah.
And that was a 30-yard hookup from Russell Wilson to Van Jefferson. On that play, you saw after the prime cameras caught an exchange between Kyle Hamilton and Brandon Stevens. Now, Brandon was beat off the line, but didn't have any help on the back end because Kyle was late. Clearly, there was some sort of miscommunication between the two, and Kyle looked visibly frustrated with Brandon.
Yes, he did.
Brandon, not to keep quoting Jimmy Smith, but you just kind of go back to what he told us, what he told me on the pregame show prior to the Cleveland game in the regular season finale. It's this 50-50 limbo that you're playing right now with Brandon Stevens. Russell Wilson knew that was not a favorable matchup, and he took advantage of it. Now, obviously, we're talking about the Van Jefferson hookup right now, but from a George Pickens perspective, Russell liked that matchup, and he should have. Jonas Schaefer tweeted out in game, Harbaugh gave a lot of credit to Russell and the Steelers for his 2 touchdown passes in the second half. He was quoted for saying they found the weaknesses in the coverage, and we didn't play it quite right, essentially confirming that, there is a problem right now in the secondary. Didn't come back to bite us today.
Right.
But it has been a recurring theme, unfortunately, for B. Steve in a contract year.
See, but I also don't know, I don't know what changes they could make. Like, Tre'Davious White obviously was one of those moves to maybe help him. And Trey against Pickens earlier did a great job in that very first matchup. Yeah. He got beat on one this time. And so you might have had more flexibility in putting Marlon out there. And then, you could maybe put Kyle in the slot sometimes if you had another free safety. Anyway, it's one of those things that it's just like, when he says they found the weakness, I'm Brandon Stevens. He's talking about you. But here's another reason why it's so good, though, that the Ravens got off to a big lead. Because, Bobby, I say this all the time. The Steelers try to make it close because then they somehow figure out, either in the third or fourth quarter, how to, connect deep, right? And then, they, suck the air out of the room and all the energy out of the room on the road when they do that. But because the Ravens already had this 3-touchdown lead, and then the first time they were able to connect and get that touchdown, that's when Derrick Henry went off on the next one and scores his 44-yard touchdown. It's like, nope, we'll just be taking that momentum right back. And then they scored again. It was just like, but it's just too late, and then the defense tightened up again in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And so this is why you want an early lead against the Steelers, because that's their strategy, and it didn't work because the Ravens had a huge lead. So I don't know what they're going to do in the playoffs. I think we're still going to see plenty of Brandon Stevens, but I think the best bet they have right now is what they ended up doing in the fourth quarter. And I love that the broadcast started zooming out a little bit more so we could see, but they had the safety shading over to Brandon Stevens' side.
Yep.
And that's really what the most you can do, because he is always in position. He just, in Jimmy Smith's words, almost panics in that last half second when the ball's, getting there.
Yep.
And so when the safety is shading over that way, that forced Russell Wilson to go back to the middle. Russell Wilson isn't great over the middle. Now, the Ravens took everything else away. The Steelers had no rushing attack. They had no short game attack. There wasn't much going on over the middle of the field. It's the only thing they can do. And it is a really nice thing where you can just go deep on the outside to your receivers, but you need more in between. And they didn't have anything else besides that. Nothing.
Holy crap. If there was one thing you were confident in coming in, you just knew the Ravens defensive front was going to make sure to stop the run. Did they ever? 29 rushing yards for Pittsburgh. Najee Harris may have just played his last game as a Steeler. He had 6 carries for 17 yards. Jalen Warren had 2 for 6, and Russ scrambled 3 for 6. I mean, that's literally one-dimensional epitomized. This was a group that just looked like they were sleepwalking through the first half. On that second touchdown, which of course was this one right here to George Pickens, we got to make sure we hold the rookie who had a tremendous regular season, Nate Wiggins, accountable here.
And he had a good night other than this play.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure, which is tough, right? Life as a defensive back is can be thankless at times. And all it is you get evaluated from time to time on one specific play, which ended up being a splash for Pittsburgh, one of just 2 tonight for them. But he gets beat off the line by Pickens and then allows for a free release on the outside. That is not where you want Pickens to be. And so Russ hits him right on the money. Ardarius is late for help on the back end. And all of a sudden, with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, the stadium's probably thinking to itself, wait a second, we're about to go to the bars in Fed Hill. Like, we got to stick around here. Nobody's leaving early. So just somewhat of a learning moment there for the Rook. But to your point, otherwise, what doesn't take away from what was otherwise a stout night.
Absolutely. And I also want to talk about the pass rush because I read somewhere that right before the game that Russell Wilson has something like a 43 passer rating when he's pressured. And so when he started hitting those guys deep, I was like, all right, the pass rush is going to have to pick up.
Yeah.
And I thought Matabike had a great night. Not only did he have his two sacks for an 8-yard loss, but he also tipped the ball, right? And got a pass block there at the line of scrimmage. So he went off. And then also Odafe Owe, it wasn't just that he got a sack. It was also that he had a sweet, thick dip move to get there. And on top of it, it was at a crucial moment in the fourth quarter when the defense previously had been reeling. It was such a great move at an important time from Odafe Owe. And then I thought Kyle Van Noy had a pretty good night. So, and Michael Pierce got a sack too. So, you know what? You know one thing, Bobby, that has completely been underreported, including by us?
Yeah.
Is the Ravens finishing second most sacks in the season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that was a big question mark, losing to Jadeveon in free agency and not knowing if 33-year-old Kyle Van Noy could back up a career year. Well, guess what? He made a new career year. And for the first time since Doomerville and Suggs, the Ravens finished with double-digit sack getters, 2 of them, Odafe and KVN. I mean, that's notable. And I, me, I always go back to the Chuck Smith when this conversation comes up.
I knew, you know what? And I almost, we didn't get to it last week, but there was a video that I was going to bring in just for you because it talked about Chuck Smith. But go ahead. You can praise him probably for the 20th time this season. Let's go.
Well, I'm just going to throw this out there too to give myself some motivation, keep myself honest. In the off season, I want to track him down and have him on the show because he's a really insightful guy. Whenever he's in the media, he's very thoughtful, very inquisitive, and obviously his track record speaks for itself. There's a reason why he is referred to in the community as Dr. Rush. Well, Dr. Rush has opened things and transformed this group over the last couple of years. And KVN just had a career year. Odafe had a career year. They, of course, invested in him, picking up his 5th-year option this past offseason. So, and then to your point, that interior rush that doesn't often come up with splash plays all the time, at least this year for Nnamdi Matabike, it did tonight. And that batted down ball was big, but also to your point, no bigger maybe defensive play tonight than Odafe's sack that really kind of stalled things for the Steelers there in the second half.
I'm trying to think. Anything else on defense? Because my mind is now going to special teams, but maybe we can get to some super chats, which are coming in massively. But do you have anything else on defense?
I'm sure there's other things that we're forgetting, but I have some special teams notes as well. So let's do that. You mentioned the KVN. One play that comes to mind, I think it was in the opening quarter, just him kind of showing his tracking down ability to stop Russell Wilson, who was scrambling. He could have gotten easily caught in the wash, but just showing again how youthful he is at 33, still very mobile. And that was a play that stuck out to me. And I'm sure there were there were others on all 3 levels. But yeah,
That was exactly the play I was thinking of for Kyle
Yep.
Van Noy also.
Yep.
Just the signature play.
Let's see. Where did we leave off,
They're
guys?
flying in. And they will not be denied on the screen because the $10 ones are flying in.
Yeah. Let's see. Julius Hamilton. Oh, no. Let's see. We left off with 12K Tay, and I was going through all the let's flock and goes. So that means we have to pick up with X2, and I'll give you that one.
Rosengarten was such a no, we did this one.
Oops.
Yep.
Julius Hamilton, thank you. Zinks 3213, thank you. Notano J627. We did that one. Darren Alexander, Malston 23. Darren Alexander showing us some love with a 999, and that means Judge Dredd. We pick up with Judge Dredd.
Great win, Ravens Nation. Let's keep it going. Let's keep this going into Young 2. 1-0 each week. Victory Sunday. Loading. #Vault. Flock Nation. Vault Nation.
Just make it real clear, guys. We're coming up on tonight's giveaway. It is a Maryland 3D flag, 18 by 12, very similar to the one that I have behind me, courtesy of Dave Taylor, who is super talented with what he does. If you're a Maryland native, could be a really fun giveaway tonight. All the instructions, live chat, pinned comment. Hybrid Theory 5 says, first playoff game I attended. So happy and glad we got the W. The Steelers' presence there felt minimal, which is something I am also extremely glad about. That's the first I've heard. That's notable because I'm not sure there's another fan base that travels better than them throughout the country. Kenneth M.
Low-key thrilled they're giving us a lot to actively work on LFG. Because it's not like it was a dominant performance, but it wasn't a perfect performance. So it is nice to be reminded that it's like we can't get too caught up in this and celebrate too much. As Derrick Henry said, it's just the first step. Lamar had that same kind of attitude. Harbaugh had that same attitude. It's just like, don't get too high, enjoy it, but don't get too high, because this is nowhere near we've nowhere near completed our mission.
Let's see. Hybrid Theory 5 says, also shout out to Brad, manager of Riley's Oyster, who I met on the light rail down from Hunt Valley. Cool dude. I love Riley's Oysters. They're in, I believe that's in the Timonium area, Lutherville area. Judge Dredd, David Herrera, thank you guys for being here tonight. And Jang, for you.
Rosengarten played every snap, 0 sacks allowed, 1 total pressure, 0 QB hits. Not bad for a nobody. LOL. #Vault.
Sarah, definitely another guy. I'm going to start putting the list together for the offseason. We got to get Roger on, and we have a direct line to him. I would love to make that happen. For sure. Hybrid Theory 5 says, also shout out, just shout outs all over the board tonight. And $10, we got to read them. Appreciate the Hybrid. Also, shout out to the Ravens fans who sat in front of me, who flew in from Bristol, England, just for the game. Said they've been fans of the NFL since '85, and the Ravens are their team since '96. I'll even add on and piggyback here, Hybrid. At my pregame tailgate at BMore Around Town, I met Ross from England. I hear there was a really popular German dude as well that came in. I never got his name. Ben Mortimer, who leads up the UK Ravens contingent. He had a ton of people that made the trip over. The trip, that's like a hike. That's like a freaking hike. And oh my gosh, like the amount of Vault subscribers and viewers that I met today at BMore was amazing.
Awesome. That's so awesome.
My guy AP, he came in from Detroit. He said he was so fired up. We had Ray from LA who came in. It was awesome. Malston 23, thank you for being here, and Michaela for you, $49.99.
I love the Vault. We love you, Michaela. Been listening for a few years, most every day. Love and respect sent the Cant community as well. No respect sent. I don't know. Okay, sorry, Michaela. I don't know that. Way to crush the Steelers tonight, Ravens and Bobby. I have always loved your sign. #Vault. Ooh.
Can't wait to give this thing away tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Michaela will win. We'll see.
And it's coming up soon. We got some special teams nuggets to get to. I'm sure there'll be more super chats, and then we will give away a Maryland custom 18 by 12 3D flag. Rick Henry, who's a patron of ours, says #Vault, just got home from the game. What an awesome win, Rick. Hope you had an awesome night out in Baltimore. It was, I got to tell you, I was just feeling it. There was just an infectious energy out there tonight, and maybe that's why I was receptive to one of our listeners, James, as idea, who showed up with smelling salts, came
Ah.
on the show, got my second headset, and I literally 2 times within like 2 minutes did 2 rounds of smelling salts. What are you going to do? Special teams nuggets.
I would have liked to have seen that, but I guess it's on camera, so I can.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'll try to clip it for us next week. We have a little bit of fun, quick hits.
Okay. I like that.
So special teams nuggets, clearly the Ravens got to figure out this whole punt return specialist issue. And when I say issue, there's just been some muffed punts in recent weeks, whether it be Tylen, whether it be Desmond King, whether it be tonight, Steven Sims on the literal opening, when was it? It was prior to their second drive, I believe, right? Or no, it was after Pittsburgh got the ball.
Yeah, it was after the Ravens. It was the first punt.
Yes.
I can say that.
Yes. So that's got to get shored up, and I wonder who the guy would be moving forward. Why? How come Keaton didn't get some reps there tonight?
Well, Keaton's always been the kickoff returner. He's never really been a punt returner, so that's definitely a different skill.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking that Tylen's the guy. Like, Tylen's the type of guy that, like, makes plays with every opportunity that he gets, and he did it again today with that first down.
Yeah.
And so I know that Tylen has muffed some before, so that's probably making them feel uneasy, but so is Sims. And Tylen just somehow makes lemonade out of lemons all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do. I know they obviously picked up Sims. Basically, Houston and Baltimore switched their wide receivers. Deontay Johnson going over there. So to make room, they cut Sims. So the Ravens pick him up, and they immediately put him in as a returner.
Yeah.
But I've heard, like, who was it? We had McClain, the Houston reporter.
Yeah, John McClain.
And he was like, Sims is a great returner. So I don't know. Like, he did get better throughout the night. So I don't know what it was. Is it nerves? It was the cold. I don't know, but it can't keep happening. But I felt like he was getting better rather than worse.
I'll tell you what, I did enjoy him on that misdirection jet sweep action, Steven Sims. He picked up 15 yards on that play. That was kind of crafty. But again, that was not on the bingo card going into the night. The fact that Anthony Miller would finish with 3 catches, the fact that Steven Sims would be involved in the offensive attack, the fact that, I mean, it was truly by committee tonight. By the way, the practice squad call up wide receivers. One of them was Anthony Miller, and the other one was Keith Kirkwood, who ended up being an inactive. Marcus Williams, of course, was another inactive. Keith Mitchell was active, just didn't. I'll have to look at the snap count. I don't even know if he was out there.
Yeah, he definitely didn't get any touches.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of the punt returner angle of things. I thought Jordan Stout he's had a little bit of a shaky few weeks down the stretch here, but he did pin him at one point in the second half inside the 5-yard line. But there was another time where Pittsburgh didn't even choose to have a returner back, and he booted it right into the end zone.
Or just one time?
What's that?
Where Pittsburgh decided not to put a returner back there?
Oh, of note that I had here, I tracked it once, but it might have happened more than that.
I only noticed it once.
But I thought Jordan's had, as you mentioned, I think you referred to it as an inconsistent up and down kind of season, and I think that's fair. He has been a little up and down, and so if there's 2 special teams angles that you have to, it's so funny. It feels like an afterthought at this point that Justin Tucker's had a career worst season because he just hasn't had a lot of attempts since the bye.
I'm happy to keep it that way.
No kidding. No kidding. They haven't had to use him, but they're gonna need him.
He was warm. They're gonna need him, but he was warming up at the end of the half. He wanted it. Yeah.
He was. Yeah. But if there's 2 areas that you kind of want to get shored up a little bit, it's getting Jordan Stout into a more consistent rhythm, and it's figuring out who's going to be your punt return specialist for this playoff run.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I thought the rookie TJ Tampa had a fantastic shoestring tackle on Calvin Austin, who, if you don't get by him, that was in the second half. Pittsburgh was looking for some good field position there. And who knows? He might have gone for 6 had TJ not found a way to bring him down. Hopefully TJ can get himself fully healthy this offseason. He's been banged up and dealt with all kinds of stuff, and of course was sidelined to start his rookie year in the aftermath of that double hernia sports surgery. So hopefully year 2 for him will be a little bit more, hopefully availability will be a calling card of his in year 2, because I'd like to see what he has in store for them just in terms of like his corner ability. We really haven't seen that much. So those are my special teams notes.
There was more than I was gonna have. But we can. I don't know if you want to get to more super chats or some quick hits here.
Yeah, let's do quick hits.
Okay,
and then we'll do a final call out. Call out. Get your super. If you want to be entered into tonight's giveaway, just hit those instructions. If you're on Twitter, pop over to YouTube so you can be eligible. All the instructions are in the live chat as a pinned comment right now. We can't wait to give away our first ever customized 3D Maryland wooden flag.
So I was a little bit surprised by this. The Houston Texans beating the Chargers 32-12. I thought if there was going to be an upset of a division winner, that the Texans would be it. But the Chargers just didn't really create any offense. So, although I don't think that's bad news for the Ravens, because they absolutely boat raced the Texans if they ever meet up again. Meanwhile, John Harbaugh was asked on whether he's rooting for Denver or Buffalo for their game tomorrow. And I was actually surprised he gave an answer. He said, I can always root for a home game. If they get an opportunity to do it again, great. So, meaning, like, if we get an opportunity to do it again. So, and then he went on to say, he's like, but if they don't, then we'll head up to Bills and we'll take care of business, up in Buffalo. So
love the honesty, coach.
Yeah, John was honest. And why not? That would be great to have. Like, again, we talked about the atmosphere so much. Why wouldn't you want that again? Why wouldn't you want that advantage?
Totally.
It's a massive advantage.
Totally.
So what time is the game tomorrow?
Let's see. Tomorrow there are 2 games, Green Bay and Philadelphia at 4:30 on Fox, Washington and Tampa at 8:00. I should say there's 3 games. The first is the one that we want to watch, so we won't have to wait that long. 1:00, Denver, Buffalo. 4:30, Green Bay, Philadelphia. 8:00, Washington, Tampa Bay. So if the Ravens, well, how would the Ravens get the Broncos? Because wouldn't the lowest seed go to the highest seed? Oh, goodness gracious. I'd have to think about the way and I don't have the bracket up in front of me, but Denver is the 7 seed. Oh, what the heck? Let me pull it up.
I guess maybe he wasn't saying Broncos would be it. He's just saying, no, he basically was saying that. Because if the Broncos were to upset the Bills, then they would go to Kansas City.
Let's see here.
Let's go to the playoff machine on ESPN.
So, yeah. So if Denver... Okay, so Houston's moving on as a 4 seed. Baltimore's moving on as a 3 seed. And Denver plays at Buffalo tomorrow.
Okay, so Houston would come to Baltimore then.
Yep, in the divisional round. Yep.
Right, so you would get a home. Okay, so he's not rooting for the Broncos so that he gets the Broncos. He's rooting for the Broncos so he can have a home game with the Texans.
Exactly, and then Denver would go to Kansas City.
Which, again, if anybody can knock them off outside of the Ravens, I guess the Bills could too, because the Bills already beat them. It's an in-division opponent.
Yep.
Although,
if I may.
You may.
You mind if we go back to this game right here? Because
yes, sir.
There's one angle that I think people will appreciate, because the Golden Boy, not that we have anything against Justin Herbert, incredibly talented player, and I'm sure has a bright future. And if you think about the way that Jim Harbaugh was able to successfully turn around the culture in literally under a year in his first season with the Los Angeles Chargers, you'd think that the future is bright. But for Justin Herbert, RG3 says, national media, keep that same energy that you gave Lamar for his past struggles in the postseason. Here's RG3's tweet tonight. 1.7 million views and counting. The national media better hold Justin Herbert accountable for his playoff performances like they do to Lamar and Dak. You want the final stat line on Justin, Sarah?
Yes, I would like that, please.
It ain't pretty. 14 of 32, 242 yards, a touchdown, 4 interceptions. He was sacked 4 times, and a quarterback rating of 40.9, a QBR of 13 flat. This was a clunker by the Los Angeles Chargers. They are one and done in year one with Jim Harbaugh, and Justin struggled mightily.
Woof, woof, woof. That is bad.
Yep.
Which makes sense when you see that the final score, they only had 12 points. Now, I'll say this. RG3 is out here fighting for Lamar. I already know what they're going to say back to him. Well, Lamar Jackson's a 2-time MVP, almost 3-time MVP, which I'm fine with. I don't care that you have higher expectations for Lamar, because he is better than Dak and Justin. But, and the better you are, the more people try to tear you down.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's crazy because it's so, but in Lamar's case, he's been torn down before he even got to be at a high place. Like, you know, so it's a little bit different with him. But a lot of times people will root for the underdog. And then once the underdog becomes the top dog, suddenly they want to tear you down. It's just the way it is.
We know how it goes.
The way it is. Yeah.
By the way, Tony Jefferson, remember, came out of retirement to join the Chargers, and he was he played a role in today's game. Remember, he was a scouting intern under Eric DeCosta last year, and we had him on the show. I think it was after the draft, maybe we had him on the show. But tonight he had 2 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery.
Wait, who's this?
This is Tony Jefferson, former Raven.
Oh.
He had a heck of a game, unfortunately, in a losing effort. And he tweeted out, "Bolt fam, this one hurts, but appreciate the support all year long and having our back. It was a fun year, and this team and organization is ascending and building something that could be legendary. Thanks for showing Unk," he's referring to himself as Unk, the old head in the room, some love. "Been surreal playing for my hometown team. Love y'all." So just wanted to give Tony a shout out because he's a friend of the show. And anybody that comes out of retirement to play good football is always really, really impressive. So
yeah, what a year for him.
So anyway, it's one and done for the Chargers. Lots more football to come throughout Wild Card Weekend. Let's get to some super chats and then ultimately.
Hold on, I got one more quick hit. One more quick hit, if you don't mind. Sorry, sir.
Nope.
Oh, I'll just use your line, if I may. We got one more quick hit. I think that should be our new thing when we need a backup. If I may.
Yep. Hit me.
What's crazy in all the time that we talked about Lamar and Derek, we didn't mention that Derrick Henry just put up his 4th postseason game with 150 plus rush yards, which ties the all-time record by Terrell Davis, who I got to witness in Denver growing up in those Super Bowls with John Elway. So he had that little record, not so little. And then Lamar had his own record. He has now got 602 career postseason rush yards, which is no surprise to anybody, is the most by a quarterback in postseason history. Which is why when Steve Smith Sr. was on the pregame show on the NFL Network and he was talking Lamar up, and his co-host was like, "So you're saying he's the MVP?" He's saying, "No, I'm saying that Lamar Jackson is now the standard." Okay, that's why we get no underdog stuff. But this made me chuckle. Lamar Jackson was asked what it's like to witness Derrick Henry there on the field. And Lamar explained it the only way Lamar can, and it'll make you smile.
It looked like a movie clip. Like, you know, when, like, I'm going to give Cars. You watch the movie Cars? You're a little bit too old to watch Cars, but anyway, for kids, I was a kid when I watched Cars. I was a kid when I watched Cars, that's all I'm saying. But you know when Lightning McQueen just flying, flashing past, and then it's like, that's how Derrick looked when he was running past, and all those guys just, it looked like a movie, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'd rather be watching it than being on the opposite side of the ball. I know that. You know?
Oh, that's hysterical.
He brought up Cars, Lightning
What
McQueen.
a reference. What a reference. And the question is Jameson 50 yet? Jameson's not old. You call Jameson Hensley old to his face. J-Mo, I don't even think you're 50 yet, are you? Maybe you are. I don't think so, but
You think Google will tell me how
hey, if
old
he's in his
is
40s, hey, those
Jameson?
are fighting words, partner. Because if he's in his
Listen,
40s, I know somebody who's in her 40s, and you
I
ain't old.
mean, I'm exactly mid-40s, 45. I'm not seeing a Jameson Hensley age out here. But I watched
Lamar.
Cars. I can't remember. Probably with my kids. My kids were big into cars when they were younger.
Never change, Lamar.
Oldest
Never
boys.
change.
Oh, I love Lamar. How do you not like his personality? All right. Now, if we may, let's go back to Super Chats.
All right, let's do it, which means we're moments away from tonight's giveaway, which will be randomly drawn through our software. So if you want to enter into an 18 by 12 3D custom Maryland wooden flag drawing, please do so. You have a couple minutes, and we want to thank Dave Taylor for making tonight possible. All the instructions currently in the live chat. There's a pinned comment for you. It's also streaming on the bottom line as a ticker right now, and you got a couple minutes to do so. All right, we left off with Rick Henry. So let's go to David White. And I wonder if this is my college roommate, aka D-Train, who just asked me to be his best man, by the way, April 2026. He says he's putting a time limit on my speech. Joke's on him. He ain't cutting the microphone off. I'll go 30 minutes. If this is D-Train, glad to see the Ravens finally commit to running the rock in the postseason, using Lamar's talent to complement it. Thoughts? No, D-Train would never misspell compliment. No chance he would do that. Thoughts on the Ravens punt return
I like how you
problem.
just filled out this David White, though.
Oh, yeah. The David White, 1:23 a.m. I don't know. Is it him? But anyway, we just covered that punt return problem. David, appreciate you being with us tonight. And if you're not D-Train, then still thank you for being here. Quincy Foreman, Michaela was just making sure to clarify that she had a typo in her $50 comment. Should have said respect for the Vault community. Sarah and Bobby, thank you for the work you do for us all, and go Ravens. Thanks for being here, Michaela. And Chris B, for you.
Ravens defense, 26 points in 3 games / 12 quarters, still pulling for the name. We are the Marauders. By the way, that was my high school. We were the Mitchell Marauders.
Nice.
Yeah, and I forgot to tell you because I was watching the show on my way to lunch with my daughter, and you were asking like, what's Marauder? A Marauder is a World War I. I think it was World War I fighter pilot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we would have like these these airplanes in our gymnasium. I remember being there playing under them in our basketball games, and so that's what a Marauder is. But why would we be the Marauder? Yeah, why would we be the Marauders though?
Well, I also had a question too on how
he said, "I have a feeling Star knows the word." I did.
I didn't even know how to pronounce it either. That was my issue. So
yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you. Kyle Joyce, appreciate you for being here. Captain Hard says if the Broncos win, we get the Texans at home, which we figured out a couple minutes ago. Thanks, Captain. Judge Dredd, Kyle Joyce, and B. Fowler. Thank you guys for all the support that you've given us tonight. 135 of you have entered in to tonight's giveaway. It is an 18 by 12 3D custom Maryland wooden flag, much like the one that is in my backdrop. It's courtesy of Dave Taylor. We will thank him for the opportunity to do a giveaway tonight. And if you're a Maryland native, this could be a fun little opportunity. So you ready to randomly give this thing out?
I will, but I'm going to keep you in suspense a minute longer because I saw a question that was not a super chat that I wanted to answer. Somebody, because I mentioned that I did the shovel. I didn't shovel. I have a snowblower. It's a small one. I would like to get a bigger one. They're like, why are you doing that when you have a husband? Okay. That's a good question. I get that question a lot because I love being okay. Number one, I like doing it. I don't know why. Like I like getting outside early in the morning, right after snow. And I go out there. I like doing it. And I've got it down to a science now. Okay. That's number one. Number two, not today, but most days, my husband is out of here by 5 a.m. He's got to be at work. And he never has a snow day ever. He's got to get to the hospital. So he's usually just not even here. It's not even possible because he's usually out of here by 5 a.m. So luckily, I like to do it because there's no way he'd be able to. So
he's a beast.
I want to put that out there. Okay. Now let's do the drawing. Let me share my screen.
All righty. And I'll go ahead and update our ticker so that the winner can email us at BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. Let's randomly pick this thing tonight.
Oh, baby. This is going to be great. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, draw.
All right. The latest giveaway we've ever done. It's 1:42 a.m. Eastern at the
Seriously.
time. Who's it going to be tonight?
It's slowing down.
Skylar
Locklear.
All right. Let's go figure out what Skylar's comment was tonight.
Find that.
Let's see.
I don't remember Skylar's. But that's because we were only reading 10 and up.
Yeah, so we may not have.
Dude, you got to go through a lot of super chat stuff.
Yes, I do. So I think there were a couple of them from Skylar. But how about the $1.99 comes through for the win? Let's see if Skylar had another one.
It actually works, maybe.
Let's see. Skylar, did you have another one? If you didn't, you're the real winner tonight. Let's see.
I love how the chat, like, they always congratulate the person, but they're also like, man, I stink at this. Like, I never win.
It's the giveaway phenomenon is something that most people are quote unquote bad at, right? I mean, your chances are, well, actually, you do have a decent chance at this, but I think Skylar.
It was that.
The lone
Skylar,
$1.99 super chat.
Is Skylar still here? We always need to make sure.
How about that?
Skylar, if you're still here, you need to email us at BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. Your address, your mailing address. Because now people want to know if Skylar's a real person.
How about it?
Quite frankly.
Congratulations to Skylar.
Rapaj saying, stayed up for nothing. You didn't stay up for nothing. We've had great commentary here tonight. We've had 7,300 concurrents.
That's right. Currently 7,300 concurrents. That's a big number. Let's see. So Skylar, maybe we can figure out whether or not Skylar's here. And we'll do all that stuff on the back end. But we appreciate Dave Taylor for the opportunity to do tonight's giveaway. And let's get some patrons in here as well before we close. Alyssa Thomas and Christopher Washington, we appreciate the support that you give us. You are valued members of the Vault Patreon community. We thank you. And this is your monthly shout out. If you guys are interested in doing the same, you can visit patreon.com/RavensVault podcast to learn more about what we offer. And for as little as $1.99, you can support the show. It goes directly towards our daily efforts year round to bring you Ravens content. And guess what? It's another week. The Ravens are on to the divisional round, partner. They await their opponent, and there will be many games played tomorrow, including that 1:00 game that we'll be watching closely between the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. That is in Western New York, in Buffalo, and we'll see what happens. If Denver were to knock off Buffalo, the Ravens would host the Houston Texans in the divisional round. If Buffalo were to win, Ravens had to play the Bills coming up next weekend.
I have a question for you, Bobby.
Hit me.
Just because we haven't heard from Skylar. Should we do a backup drawing just in case?
Ooh.
Give Skylar the week to get to us.
Wow.
But if not, I'm just nervous because I don't want everybody to lose their chance.
Yeah,
Something just tells me we should have a backup.
We should, not to tease the backup.
I don't think this has ever happened where the person wasn't here at the end.
Yeah, and unless Skylar pulls up the show tomorrow or somebody knows Skylar, which probably there's an outside chance of that.
Right.
Skylar may never know. So let's do the backup.
Okay, we got a backup.
And then the backup still needs to reach out to us though, so we at least have the backup.
The backup needs to be here right now.
Yep.
I'm not going to do a backup of another Skylar. So the backup will be somebody that's here. Does that sound okay?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because if we just do another one, then how are we going to find the other person if they're not here?
Just so everybody knows, Gowie's in the building, and he's just offering out his services to accept it. So that's good to know, Gow. At least we got somebody that'll accept our Maryland flag. What's up, brother? Hope you enjoyed your night, man. All right, I like the idea though, Sarah.
Okay, is there anybody against this? Diesel Doctor, I'm here. I'm the backup.
What up, Deez?
All right, let's redraw just for a backup. You got to understand we're gonna give Skylar how long, Bobby? Should we give her the week? Couple days? We're making these rules up as we go along.
Yeah, midweek maybe.
Like Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay, so Skylar has till Wednesday to email us.
And here's the funny thing, guys. Like with YouTube, there's no way of contacting these people. Like we don't have any way of contacting you guys unless you contact us.
Right.
So that's just the tricky part about this.
That's right. All right, so let me click on draw again. Oh, it's already going.
This is cool too. Like,
yeah,
you never know, right? Not to tease the backup, but
I just
Lewis.
He from X. Now him we could reach out to him if he's not here.
Well, no. This was somebody that's not eligible because you can't drop a super chat on X.
Oh, so you're right.
We got to run it back.
Hashtag vote. Okay, here we go again.
Sorry, Lewis. And by the way, Sarah, this is a good reminder, actually, that we have over 6,000 people right now between our two Twitters over there. Yeah. Just so you guys know, we love you guys. But come on over to YouTube because it's a more interactive experience and you can enter giveaways if you're interested.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Sorry, Lewis, you're out. You got to subscribe to the Vault on YouTube.
Lewis, you're fired.
Sorry, I'm not sorry. Here we go. Draw again. All right.
Round 3.
It's kind of fun.
What we got?
Laura.
Laura is definitely here too, as far as I know. I thought I saw Laura mixing it up just within the last couple minutes. I'll pull up her super chat just so that we can treat this as if she's going to be the winner if we don't hear from Skylar. Let's get to Laura. Let's see. Laura, where were you? Earlier or later? I can't. I mean, I'm looking at 135 super chats right now. Let's see. Where were you, Laura?
Paul is in shambles because he was the name before Laura.
You hate to see it, Paul. You really do.
Laura, where are you?
Let's see.
You sure she's still here right now?
No, but I thought I saw her within the last couple minutes. So she hit us at 12:34 a.m. with a "What a game" #Vault. So Laura, if you're here, we'd love to hear from you. And if you're not,
they're all like, "Go again."
If you're not, we might have to go a backup just to make sure we're kind of crossing all our T's and dotting I's here. Let's see. Yeah, so that was her super chat tonight. Laura, are you in the building?
Okay, Laura. Everybody went to sleep, Bobby.
Man, but there's 7.
I said you got to be here, so Laura is not the backup.
Oh, man.
She gone.
Oh. Lewis is just realizing he's not eligible. Sorry, brother. All right, Sarah. Let's get a third.
All right, a third. All right, let's do it again. Here we go. Draw again.
Let's go. Backup of the backup.
Get for going to bed before 2 a.m. This is my second night in a row that I'm up till 2 a.m.
Who's it going to be? 12K Tay. I feel like 12K.
I got 12K recently.
You think 12K is going to be around?
I love it when people see their name and then they're like, there it is. Okay, 12K Tay, you are officially our backup.
All right.
If so Skylar, who you cannot go track down and like steal her computer or something, okay? If Skylar doesn't reach out to us by Wednesday, you are our person. So just in case, 12K, email us right now. So we got you so we can communicate with you. Email us, BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com, and send us your mailing address. We will update you on Wednesday whether or not Skylar got back to us.
I'm writing all of our names down here.
Okay. They're like, congratulations to backup 12K Tay.
Literally. Yeah, we didn't think about this when people aren't here.
Truth. 12K, you are Justice Hill.
Now, just to be clear, Sarah, does Laura still count as the backup?
No, I said they have to be here because I didn't want to have another Skylar situation. Laura's out.
All right. Sorry, Laura. Skylar's last name is Locklear. Okay, 12K. We'll be in touch. hit us up, and we'll be waiting for Skylar. And if we don't hear from Skylar, then you're our winner, man. We can't wait to make sure you get your 18 by 12 Maryland 3D custom flag, wooden flag, just like the one I got behind me. All right, guys.
What size is yours back there?
I'm sorry?
What size is yours back there?
Gosh, I don't even know. I think it was like one of the biggest ones he had to offer.
All right.
I think it was, oh gosh, what was it? Let's see. I think it was a 42 by 28 or something like that. So.
All right.
1:52 a.m. 12K's loving this. You guys are hilarious. All right, guys. Well, awesome night. Congratulations on your season being extended. Sarah and I, of course, will be back for another week of divisional round coverage. We'll be off tomorrow. Enjoy the games. I'll be streaming probably a little bit here and there. Thank you to Dave Taylor for the opportunity to do this giveaway tonight. Thanks to all of you who contributed. And we're obviously highly engaged to celebrate a pretty convincing victory in the wild card round. Ravens take care of the Steelers 28-14. They move on to the divisional round, and now they await, of course, their opponent, which we'll figure out coming up tomorrow. For Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Trosted signing off from this post-game live stream. On your way out, if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, we would appreciate it. And as always, thanks for spending some time with us here inside the vault. We'll talk to you on Monday.